welcome to 2023 and our first look at Tiffin University basketball. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tiffin University Dragon Basketball Weekly. I'm Russ Snyder, voice of the Dragons. To my right, head women's basketball coach, Coach Mason. How you doing, sir?
Wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. So welcome back. How did winter break treat you?
Wonderful. It was nice to spend some time with my wife and the family and get recharged. And now we're ready to go for the second half of the year.
Winter basketball season, not a whole lot of time for the wife and family that often, is it?
No, not really. But we take what we can get.
All right, well, let's talk about your kids right now. We're just getting back from winter break. Everything kind of slows down a little bit there. Everybody gets to recompress, I guess, or just reevaluate what you've been doing so far this year. Your kids right now, 5-10 overall, 2-5 in conference, but right back here, Coach, your kids are 4-1 overall at home, and you got 4 home games coming up. So it's a nice little stretch here where you guys can kind of spin things around for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think being my first year and a bunch of new kids as well as part of the program, starting your season off with a bunch of away games kind of adds to some bit of adversity to get over. So we're excited for the home stretch moving forward because, as you said, we're doing pretty well at home. The girls feel comfortable at home, and it's been apparent to me, and you can see like in our schedule throughout the season, there is a big home court advantage in the GMAC. It's typically just how it goes, and so we're excited to get our time here. And
it's also exciting to come back and have the kids back on campus too, because you get a couple home games when there's the student body population's on winter break, and it's just not the same feel. I bet the kids are really looking excited for Thursday night and having all the students back in here in the Gilmore and really rocking the house.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about Tiffin. Like we are a really close-knit school with everyone involved in athletics, so it's always nice when the place is rocking during home games when students are in session.
Well, let's take a look at some of the numbers for your kids so far this year. Leading scorer for your team, senior Savannah Richards, 20th in the conference, averaging 11.7 points per game. Just behind her, Jada Tate, 8.9, and Katara Desjardins at 7.8. Talk a little bit about that senior leadership. What you said earlier, being your first year this year, how much you needed to lean a little bit on that senior leadership from some of your older upperclassmen.
Yeah, I can't thank them enough for being what they've been through and sticking with it and keeping everybody together. I think our kids are bought into what we're trying to do. We've seen growth every game in different areas, and we've talked about all the time. We're just waiting for that game where we can put everything together for 4 quarters, and we think we have a special team ahead of us. And a lot of that has to do with our seniors sticking with it, being positive, and kind of leading the way, not only with their words but by example.
You mentioned the words buying in. Was that a little bit of a concern for you? Now, you had familiarity with Tiffin University and the women's basketball program, but stepping away, then coming back and being the man in charge, you have a little bit of a worry about that, and then was that worry eased real quickly when you got to work with the kids?
No, I think it was eased real quickly once I got to work with the kids. Like you said, with the seniors coming back, I've worked with before as sophomores, and they knew what I was about. So I thought their buy-in was pretty quick, and they've helped me get the others to buy in. And so it's been, although our record's 5-10, it's been a great year for us as far as getting the program moving in the right direction.
How was that reunion when you came back the first time? You got to see the kids after you said you worked with them through their sophomore year. You go away and do your other thing, come back, and how was that reunion when you came back and saw everybody again?
Honestly, I can't even put into words how excited I was, and it probably wasn't until about the first week of regular season until I finally realized, like, all right, this is actually your day-to-day. Just because I was stoked to come in the gym and work with these kids again after that historic year when we went to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, that was a pretty phenomenal run you guys went on. You can see it, Coach. When we're on my vantage point right behind me, you can see where I sit for the games, and you can see that the kids enjoy playing for you and enjoying being a part of a team that you're leading. That's got to make your job a whole lot easier, too.
Yeah, it's easier to go through those adversity or tough stretches knowing that we do a great job of self-reflecting, me included. It's not a certain person loses the game or coach loses the game. It's we all lost the game, and how do we come in the next day to fix that? And the girls have responded really well.
Yeah, it's how you react to what just happened is going to create your opportunities for what's about to happen. And that's, you can't dwell on what happened, that's for sure. Win or loss, you got to get ready. And we'll talk about a couple of games here recently. A loss your last time out against Ursuline, but we'll talk more about the crazy one at Ohio Dominican here in just a minute. Let's talk about the rebounding. Also, Savannah Richards leading the way there at 5.1 a game. Kirsten Williams, Jada Tate right behind her. And Jada Tate's actually rebounding a little bit better in conference play, and she's 18th in the conference in rebounding.
Yeah, our rebounding has been huge as of late. I think when you're trying to put in an offensive system and some new defensive things, I think we're all finally relaxed and calm with what we're doing. So now we can focus on the little things, such as making sure you're grabbing rebounds and those types of stats. So I think that's why you see our numbers kind of starting to increase.
And you look at it, your leaders are not with big, huge numbers, but that's because you don't have a ton of size. You have to rebound by committee and rebound by effort, don't you?
Correct. We're not a tall group, but we're a scrappy group. And so like you said, we're big believers and we're just rebounding as a team. All 5 of us got to go get it.
It's effort. Rebounding is effort, right?
That's 100% right. So our kids love to do that and they love to fight for it. So hopefully we continue to rebound well, because at the end of the day, that's usually a big factor of who wins and who loses.
Yeah, well, rebounds, turnover battles. Whenever I talk about the stats, those are some of the numbers I always bring up right away. And okay, assists per game, Pistol Brinson, your point guard, averaging 2.4, 23rd in the GMAC. Savannah Richards right behind her, Kirsten Williams as well. And again, this is another situation where you got a lot of people with their hands on the basketball, so the assist numbers aren't going to be big with one player. They're going to be spread around amongst a bunch of them.
Yeah, I've said this since day one, and the kids have bought into, when we score, it's not an individual scores, it's Tiffin scores. Mm-hmm. So we're working on what's the best shot we can get, and finding that person that has the best shot at the time. And so that allows all of our kids to handle the ball. Also, the kids know that I'm confident in every single one of them, and I show that by allowing multiple kids to handle the ball and attack the rim. And so, luckily, we have a team that cares for each other and just wants to win. So when you have multiple kids with 2-3 assists throughout the year, you're playing team basketball.
And you must trust the kids. You got 9 players playing 10-plus minutes a game. Talk a little bit about the depth you have on this team.
I think we're in a situation where we have a bunch of kids that are athletic and provide different things on the floor. We have some that can score a little bit more than others. We have some that guard a little bit more than others. So it's trying to find the balance of lineups we can use to give us what we need at the time. Yeah,
and it's good you work that out as much as you can early in the season, because we're in January, February. It's the stretch run. I mean, it's the meat of it now as you're into the conference play. And eventually, and it always happens, the rotations diminish a little bit, get shrunk, but if kids are willing to put the work in and practice, and when they get their opportunities, their minutes aren't going to go away. It just may be different minutes that they're getting.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I think the kids have done a great job of understanding that we don't know when your time is, but when it comes, make sure you're prepared to perform and do what you can for the team. And our kids have done a great job of buying into that concept.
Last time the Dragons were on the floor, they lost a tough one at Ursuline, but Ursuline's sitting 4th in the conference. No shame in going up there and losing. But let's talk about the game at Ohio Dominican University. Sure, everybody around the conference talking about the way your team battled in that second half, and then the huge shot from beyond half court to send it to overtime, then getting a big victory in overtime. Talk a little bit about the effort your kids had to put in that game to get that W.
Yeah, I think at halftime when we were talking about what was going on, we agreed defensively it wasn't really the problem. We were defending pretty well, and that we were getting open shots. We were just missing some, and at the third quarter media, it was still the same principle of, one possession at a time, we can do this. And I think, shooting the 3 ball and scoring in general is just contagious. So we started the fourth quarter and we started to score 2 or 3 times in a row. At that point, you could feel the energy with the team and that's when it snowballed, and we had, I think, a 28-point fourth quarter. But it all starts with, I think sometimes during our games, we need that one person to hit that one shot to kind of get us rolling. And that happened. Unfortunately, that wasn't part of the game plan, was to get down 19.
But you didn't pencil that in.
Yeah, that wasn't worked on in practice. But that's been our MO all year, regardless of the score and regardless of what the outcome has been. Our kids, they battle for 40 minutes. They want to play hard. They want to do what's right. So it's moments like those that's special, because they've been doing that all year. It's just now they've seen the reward for that.
That's where the hard work and preparation pays off. And you talked about how much of a home court advantage there is in our conference. So that's almost like getting a win and a half, 2 wins when you go on the road. No matter where you're going, go down to how many can get that win. It's just a huge one for your kids.
Absolutely.
And then you got the 4 games coming up in a row at home, starting out this Thursday night with Trevecca Nazarene coming in, a team you got 2 big ones this week with 2 teams. Trevecca sitting at 5th in the conference, and Kentucky Wesleyan on Saturday sitting at 2nd in the conference. So this is a big kickoff of this 4-game stretch, home stretch for your kids. How excited are they to get out there and get at it again on Thursday night?
They're excited. I think the best thing about Saturday was when we came in the locker room after the loss, no one was sad. They were mad. They were frustrated because they expect better of themselves now, which as a coach is exciting when your kids know they can play better and are motivated to rectify the wrong, so to speak. They couldn't be more excited to not only get back on the court, but the fact that it's home is that much more motivating for them. And we've had a great day of practice yesterday, and we're looking forward to another one today.
And kids get back to the schoolwork. So we all know how much of creatures of habit and routine students are, especially student athletes. So kind of getting back into that routine, get the holidays behind you, as exciting and as fun it is to get with your family and spend the time like you mentioned earlier. Now it is time to get back to work. Let's get back to the routine of things. And let's, put really the first 15 games, that's fine. But let's concentrate on what's in front of us.
Correct. I think, I told the girls before we left for break that, that conference tournament and winning the GMAC and everything is always decided in the second round, the second half of the season. So, like you kind of already mentioned, those first 15 games are us just feeling each other out, feeling out lineups, feeling out how we're going to play. But now this is the meat of our schedule, and it's time to go.
You'll be out here on the floor this Thursday. You can catch all the action on the Great Midwest Digital Network. I love the digital network. I was able to watch your guys' game up at Ursuline. I didn't get a chance to watch the game with Ohio Dominican. I was working another event. But you can catch all the live video action at the Great Midwest Digital Network. You can catch all the radio airplay at tudragonradio.com. So Coach Mason, keep working them hard, and we'll get you out here on Thursday night and Saturday afternoon, and hopefully we'll get 2 victories and come back and talk about them and get you ready for 2 more home games next week.
Absolutely. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
All right, we're going to come back in just a moment with Coach Church from the Tiffin University men's basketball program. This is Dragon Basketball Weekly.
Your journey is full of choices. Make Tiffin University the next choice in yours.
I chose TU because of the business program. I chose TU because of the baseball team.
To play soccer.
I chose TU because of the small campus and tiny community.
For the golf team and the huge amount of international students that we have.
To play esports and tennis and to study computer science.
The education major and do musical theater. It's great.
The next step in your journey begins at tiffin.edu.
Choose TU!
Welcome back to Dragon Basketball Weekly. Hi, everybody. Russ Snyder, voice of the Dragons. To my right, head coach of the Tiffin University men's program, Coach Tom Church. Hello, and welcome back after winter break. How was your break?
It was great. Thank you for asking me. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, it was fantastic. I'm sure, like you, got to spend a little bit extra time with the family and the kids. And as we said with Coach Mason, this time of year, time with the wife and family isn't always that accessible, but we had a little bit of a lull there for a little bit. Got to spend some time and recharge the batteries, if you will.
It was great. It was, like you said, it's limited time right now because of game planning and travel, which we've been on the road, and recruiting still and all that stuff throughout the season. But yeah, no, it was great to be with the family.
It's something people might not realize. Like if they say, "Oh, the coach has a little bit of downtime," well, you fill that downtime with other things you got to worry about more so than what's happening back here on Thursday.
There's high school games going on, and we're still watching film and all that stuff. But yeah, and we're still getting in the office. But no, it was nice to be able to spend some time with the family.
I'll be at a high school game tonight. One of my favorite things is to sit down with a soda pop and a bag of popcorn at a high school basketball game. There's not much better than that. There's not much better. All right, Tiffin University men's basketball right now. Coach coming in at 4-9, 2-5 in conference, 2-2 at home back here right over our shoulders. And you got a little stretch coming up here. 2 this week and 2 next week. 4 straight home games. Perfect time with the kids coming back from break, everybody back in school, to have a big house here, full packed house on Thursday night when your Dragons welcome in, who we got on Thursday night, I forget, Trevecca and Nazarene. We got Kentucky Wesleyan on Saturday. So how perfect is this setting up for your kids to come out and hopefully put on a good show for home folks?
Yeah, I mean, we love having the kids back to school, and obviously, we should have a much better crowd than over Christmas break when it's limited. But you want to say take it one game at a time, but you look at the next 2 weeks and 4 home games, and just a huge stretch for our program.
Absolutely.
With conference tournament around the corner. I mean, we're over past the midway part of the season already. So we've had a lot of games on the road and being able to get it home. But man, these next 2 weeks are going to be huge for us.
Absolutely, and this is really the heart and meat of your schedule now. The January, February part of the schedule is where it's all at. And these, as you said, these 4 games, 2 of them this week, Trevecca on Thursday and then Kentucky Wesleyan on Saturday. We'll have all the coverage for you on the Great Midwest Digital Network and at tudragonradio.com. And let's talk a little bit about your kids who will be participating there. Let's talk about some of your leaders right now. Points per game, Karius Key, 12.9. That's 13th in the conference. Also shooting around 33% from the three-point line. Josh Rivers, 12 points a game. Wesley Jordan, 11 points per game. Talk a little bit about the the effort and the contributions those young men are giving you.
Yeah, and I think Karius has probably been our most consistent player. He's really played well. We had a stretch there, a couple games where we had 2 guys out with illness, and I think that he really stepped up. And then Wesley has been playing well as of late.
Yep.
We as a team, we haven't played particularly well the last couple games, and we got to get back. Get back playing well. But I thought he up to the last game, I thought he was our most consistent player too. Over the last 4 or 5 games. And then Josh is just a playmaker. We really kind of missed his defensive presence, even though we went 1-1 with those 2 games with him and Ian out. But he's probably one of our best defensive players, especially on the ball. So getting him back and getting him healthy has been big. But yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about it. I mean, these next 4 games, but particularly being at home, these next 2 games, Thursday at home, we need a good crowd here.
Absolutely.
We need a good crowd here. Our guys feed off of that just like everybody else on the road. So it's going to be big for us for not only those 3 guys to play well, but to get some other guys stepping up and getting a little bit more consistency as well.
I was talking to Coach Mason about how much there is a home court advantage in the Great Midwest Athletic Conference. And to back that up, you got to protect home court then. You have to protect home court. Road wins almost like a 1.5, 2 wins.
Yes.
So that makes it even more important to maintain and control home court.
And our 2 wins right now in conference are both on the road.
Right.
At Northwood and at ODU. So it's important right now. There's 8 spots available in the conference tournament. There's a lot of games left. Obviously 1 game at a time, but these next 4 at home, we've got to get a couple of them, if not maybe go 3-1, possibly. Obviously if you go 4-0, you're sitting in the driver's seat.
Yep.
But to be able to protect home court would be huge. So we've been telling our guys in class, if you have to, when the professor dismisses you, stand up and say, hey, we need you at the game Thursday and Saturday. And we've got double headers. We have not played. I don't know if we've played a double header at home with the women's team yet. I don't think it's happened.
I'm thinking back. I don't think I've had
I think we've maybe had one on the road, Northwood. I think we've had 1 conference game on the road.
I didn't realize that, but I think you're right.
We have not played a doubleheader at home with the women's team all year.
Right.
So it'll be nice to have them playing and have us playing and be able to kind of feed off each other.
I do think we'll have a nice crowd on Thursday and Saturday, especially with the kids coming back and really it's their first big athletic events that they can attend since they got back on campus. And it is cool how we see the football players, the baseball players supporting the basketball team supporting the baseball team, the football team. It's pretty cool the way you have to do that on a university like Tiffin University. And it's just really cool to see how it all works out that way. A couple of guards we mentioned really brought a strength factor to your team this year. Key and Rivers, really some strong young men. Then Mikhail Harris bringing up some more size for you too. Both him and Wesley averaging over 5 rebounds per game. And Mikhail's sitting at 16th in the conference right now.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that. We're built a lot different than we have been in the past. We don't shoot the 3 ball as well as we have in the past, which we've got to make some shots. But defensively, rebounding, our strength, we rely a lot more, which is crazy. We rely a lot more on points in the paint.
Right.
And up to these last couple games have been rough for us. After break, we haven't really. And again, we're at Cedarville and at Hillsdale, 2 of the top teams in the conference. But being able to get back home, we've really got to rely on our defense. And I don't know if you've ever really heard me say that, before.
Right.
Where we've really relied on the offensive firepower to where now, we feel like if we can get down and really, really guard, we're going to give ourselves a chance to win every game. So that's what we got to get back to. But yeah, with Kale, with Wes and Karius and Josh and that size factor, Morgan can post up.
He's leading your team in assists, 11th in the conference as well.
He's 11th in assists, and he's able to create a lot of that by getting post ups or getting to those one-on-one matchups. So, we had a great practice to start the week. We've actually been off since last Thursday. Which is nice. So we've had a couple really, really good practices to be able to go into this Trevecca game on Thursday.
We mentioned Morgan Taylor averaging 2.9 assists a game, Karius Kiva 2, as well as Andre Irving averaging 2 as well. Much like what we said with Coach Mason with the women's team, Karius has the ball in his hands more than anybody else, but a lot of people have their hands on the ball with Tiffin University's basketball team. So there's not going to be anybody with 7-8 assists. There's going to be a bunch of guys in that 2 to 4 range.
No, and you know, Karius kind of like starts at the point guard position for us, but we have, you know, we'll run a lot of stuff for Mo. We'll have him bring it up. We'll run some stuff for Trent. We'll have him bring it up.
You even have Josh Rivers bringing the ball sometimes as well.
We've had Josh bring it up as well, and he's kind of that small forward, but you know, we like to have the ball in his hands because he can make plays. So yeah, definitely a little bit different look for us this year. You know, it's like we're trying to find that happy medium where, you know, we averaged over 10 made threes a game last year.
Right.
And this year we're, you know, towards the bottom of the conference and shooting right now. So we've got to kind of find that happy medium between where we're guarding, where we've seen this team really, really defend at a high level, which we need to make sure that we get back to. But we've got to be able to make some shots offensively and kind of get going over these next few games.
So you're earning your check. You're coaching those 3 balls last year. Now you're coaching rebound and defense. It all matters with the 12 you got sitting in the jerseys over there in the bench with you.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. So like I said, I think we've had a great week of practice, and we know Trevecca's going to be ready. They got a player back that has not played all year. You know, I know that their record doesn't kind of show that, but like, you know, they were up 12 on Lake Erie with 10 minutes to go at their place.
Right. And Lake Erie's got a pretty darn good team.
Really good
Sitting
team.
Sitting 5th in the conference right now.
5th in the conference. Lake Erie beat Hillsdale, their only loss of the year.
They got the surprise of the league to you right now, Lake Erie?
I think so. I thought they were. I had them picked a little bit higher than I think that they ended up being. But you know, they got a lot of guys back, and they know their strengths. You know, and they play as a team. So I really like them. To me, the surprise this year in the league has been Hillsdale. Okay. You know, you know, they lost a lot.
They did.
They lost a ton. But he's got those guys ready to come in and that have been playing against those guys. And we still thought they were going to be good, but I didn't think they'd be. I think they're 6th or 7th in the country right now.
Yeah, sitting top of the conference.
Yeah, which is sitting at the top of the conference, which is amazing. So, you know, we knew the conference was going to be good. It's good every year.
Yep.
So we'll see what we can get done over these next 2 weeks for sure.
You normally you got 10 players averaging 10 plus minutes a game. Is that about normal for you, or is that?
I think so. You know, we play a little bit deeper. You know what I mean? Our freshmen, I think, have stepped up, and they've given our coaches, I think, a little bit more confidence over these past couple, 2 to 3 weeks.
You gotta love seeing that, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, we've you know, the 2 freshmen that really kind of stand out right now are LJ Dees and Casey Hunt. You know, and those guys have played you know, some really good minutes, and we've needed that, you know, off the bench. So, you know, we're going 9-10 deep. We're going to play 9-10 deep, you know, and I think especially when you get into this late in the season, you got guys nicked up and whatever. You want to keep them fresh. You know, you want to keep them fresh for the middle to the end of that stretch run. You know,
absolutely.
Conference.
And these young men are learning that high school is a boys' game, college basketball is a man's game.
Yep, and I think, you know, playing that non-conference schedule, but they're seeing too, like, going on the road and how hard it is to win on the road, you know, in conference play. They're starting to see that, and they've been playing really well. So, and they got, with a couple of those guys out, with Ian and Josh out for the Northwood and Hillsdale game, they were able to get some valuable minutes.
Well, your last time out, you fell at Hillsdale. You were mentioned earlier, it was a tight game until the final minutes of the first half. You hear basketball coaches saying over and over again, the final minutes of the first half, start of the second half, the most important minutes. And I see you shaking your head as I mentioned.
I mean, you're exactly right. And they, you know, we did not come ready to play. They hit some. I mean, we came ready to play, but like you said, the end of the first half, they hit some really tough shots. We turned it over, and that's a recipe where when you're on the road against a top team like that, they got a little bit of confidence there at the end of the first half, which then carried them into the second half. So, you know, again, we were not able to make shots. We haven't really, you know, been consistent especially from the perimeter. But we're hoping that kind of changes with being at home.
Home cooking,
home cooking. You're shooting on a rim that you shoot on all the time.
Yep.
So we're hoping that, hey, let's get back to kind of what we're accustomed to, is making shots and now getting some stops on the defensive end.
We mentioned the 2 games this week, part of a 4-game homestand for the Dragons. A bit of schedule change, though, this past week. A game that was originally on the schedule had to be canceled, and then you picked up a game Monday, January 30th against East-West University in Chicago.
Yeah, we had some scheduling issues, and unfortunately we had to cancel the game. And to me, I think it kind of worked out in our favor because we were able to spend a little bit of extra practice time getting ready for this 4 conference games. So we go 4 home, 2 on the road. I think we're at Salem and at Ashland, and then we squeak a home game in there on that Monday, January 30th.
Yeah.
Then we're back on the road at Walsh. So it's nice to be able to get home and break up that 3 road game trip right there against East West University out of Chicago. They played a couple teams in our conference. The coach was great on the phone and said, "Hey, coach, we're looking for a game." So we called around and we're able to work it out, which is nice, and get another home game.
That's another game you can catch right here on the Great Midwest Digital Network as well. All right, a couple big ones in the conference on Thursday night. Walsh against Malone, and on Saturday, Ashland against Walsh. So some Dragons get a couple wins this weekend. Some stuff's going to shake up above you right there. You guys are sitting, you said top 8 make the tournament. You guys are sitting at 9th.
We're sitting at 9th, yeah.
You're right there, knocking on the door.
I think we're like 1.5 games back, or 1 game back, and
now you take care of your business.
And we've played the majority of our games on the road too, as well. So of our 7 games, I think 4 or 5 have been maybe 5 on the road. 5 on the road. Yeah. So we've only had Lake Erie and Hillsdale at home.
Yep.
So this is going to kind of be that stretch run here where 4 home games over the next 4 games here. We'll see what we can get done for sure. We can make some movement here.
Thursday night, the women play first, the men follow. Saturday afternoon, it's the women followed by the men. He's Coach Tom Church. I'm Russ Snyder. And Coach, final thing here, when the folks come in and watch you guys out here on the floor, talk a little bit about the effort they're going to see from your kids.
Well, we've talked a little bit about it. I think on the defensive end, fans want to see you get down and guard, and that's one thing this year. We were first or second offensively last year, last defensively. I think we're 4th defensively right now in the conference in points per game.
Huge improvement.
So we are massively improved on the defensive end. You're going to see our kids playing hard, diving on the floor, playing as a team, and we're healthy. Knock on wood. So we'll be playing with a full squad over these next 4 games, and we're going to see what we can get done. Awesome. We need your help. We need that 6th man, so to speak. Yep. So love to see you at the gym.
Awesome. He's Coach Tom Church, as I said. I'm Russ Snyder. We'll catch you next week right here on your home of the Dragons, Dragon Basketball Weekly.